Welcome to the Agents Lounge podcast, where we talk all things real estate with the industry's top performers. Join us as we dive into the inspiring journeys of successful agents and uncover the secrets to their success. Whether you're a seasoned agent or just starting out, we got the tips and tricks to help you navigate the world of real estate. Brought to you by Integrity Comfort Solutions. So grab a seat and join us in the Agents Lounge.
And welcome back to another episode of the Agents Lounge podcast here in San Antonio, Texas, and sponsored by Integrity Comfort Solutions. My name is Marco Salinas, and I am your host for today. And I have my co-host, Mr. Francisco Bermudez Jr., the owner of Integrity Comfort Solutions. Say hello, Francisco.
Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon, San Antonio, right?
Yes.
And joining us today on the Agents Lounge, we have someone very special, a very special guest. We were actually just doing like a pre-practice recording, and we were having a lot of fun before we ever even hit record. So I know this is going to be a lot of fun. Great information. Miss Katie Lee.
Yes.
Right? Miss Katie Lee from High Level Capital.
High Level Capital.
High Level
You got
Capital.
it.
All right.
Thank
Good
you
stuff.
so much, Marco and Francisco, for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
That is so awesome. We are so excited to have you here joining us. And I know you've got a really cool story, right? You've
Yes,
been through some
sir.
cool things. And matter of fact, technically, we're supposed to be calling her Dr. Katie Lee because she is a doctor. She's a doctor of chiropractic.
Yes.
How do you say it? Doctor of chiropractor?
Chiropractic.
Chiropractic. Okay. Doctor of chiropractic. See, I wouldn't last a day in that school. But but actually you made a big giant career change,
Yes,
didn't
I
you?
did. Yes,
right?
I did.
And so now going to school for chiropractic is not like a 1-year program,
Definitely
right?
not.
You poured in some time
Yes,
into
it's
that.
4 years in undergrad and 4 more years in chiropractic school.
Wow.
Graduate school.
So for you to step away from that, you must have really determined that that was not your calling and there was something bigger. There was something that was resonating with you far more than being a doctor of chiropractic.
That's definitely right.
That's what we're going to talk
Yes.
about.
All right.
That's what we're going to talk about today, right? Okay. So, Katie Lee, you are originally from California. We'll go a
Yes.
little bit to the backstory first, okay? You're from California. You grew up, but you said you grew up mostly in San Antonio, though, right?
Yes.
How old were you when you came to San Antonio?
When I came here, I was about in the 5th grade, I believe, in San Antonio. And
Okay.
so I pretty much grew up here in my childhood school years, all the way up to high school
Can I
when
ask, where did you go?
graduated. High school, I went to Health Careers High
Health
School,
Careers, okay,
where
we
you had
see.
to get accepted.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so from there, also led into my career in medicine, right? Chiropractic. And I left San Antonio to go to Austin
Okay.
for college.
You little rebel. You're such a rebel.
At the University of Texas at Austin. Go Longhorns.
Right? Heck
Go
yeah.
Longhorns.
Longhorn
So,
pride, huh?
you know, I lived my best life in the college years, the college experience.
Sixth
Everybody
Street,
knows.
were you on
yes.
6th Street all the time?
Everybody knows at UT, okay?
That's a wild place over
Right.
there for college students, right? Yes, I'm sure you had fun.
Definitely had a
You got it
blast.
out of your system?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Got it out of my system.
Okay.
Started to focus. Moved to Houston, where I attended Texas Chiropractic College for
Okay.
4 more years.
Yep.
Graduated with my doctorates at 26 in 2010.
Wow, that is so awesome. Okay, now I have to ask this question. I have some friends that are Asian, and their parents are like, "You will be a doctor." Especially the dad. And so tell me about the heart attack that happened with your family when you announced that I don't think I want to be a chiropractor after all. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yes, well, you're right on the money. I was all these stories that you hear about the Asian American child with immigrant Asian
Yes,
parents, right?
that's right.
That have very strong traditional cultures
Yes.
in Vietnam. My parents are the exact same way. Of course, they immigrated here to America for a better life and
course.
to open the doors of new opportunities for us, right?
That's right.
For us to be able to live that American dream. And of course, they pushed us hard in education.
Huge.
So definitely from their sacrifices, I, felt the need to kind of repay them for
Right.
their sacrifices, right?
Yes.
I owe them.
Right,
I owe them
right.
so much for all the sacrifices that they made coming over here, starting in a foreign land without having no money, not even knowing a word of English, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
building their way up to be able to give us these opportunities.
Yes.
So I definitely followed that path. The Asian American dream for their Asian child, right,
Yes.
is being the doctor,
And
being the
medical,
lawyer,
yeah,
right?
Medical or lawyer, always. Yeah.
So if your child's made it to become a doctor or lawyer, you made it. Like
That's right.
you made it.
That's right. All of our work paid off.
Right,
She's
correct,
a doctor
correct.
now. Yes,
So
exactly.
I did do that. I went to the top schools, made the highest grades, graduated with my doctorates at 26, right?
Yep.
And initially, after graduating, the plan was always to open my own practice
Yeah.
and eventually scale it, right?
Of course.
But soon after graduating medical school, I met the love of my life, then unexpectedly getting pregnant with twin girls,
Okay.
right?
So life-
Hi, Chloe and Kylie.
So life started happening pretty
Correct.
fast after
So-
college, is what you're saying.
Yes. So after that, I had to actually put a hold on my career.
Okay.
And that kind of threw us into a financial struggle.
Sure.
So we went through a lot of hardships.
Sure.
Went through a lot of hardships. And soon after having my girls, my husband and I were in a terrible accident.
Okay.
That left my husband pretty much fighting for his life.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
And luckily I came out without a scratch.
Okay.
But his recovery process was a very long road, right?
Wow.
Yes, and so we definitely hit rock bottom.
I see.
From there, we knew that we wanted to rebuild our lives,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we just didn't have a clear vision or a clear plan.
Sure.
So one day, we just got up, we packed our life up in boxes, and we made the decision to move from Houston back to San Antonio to be closer to my family.
Sure.
And actually rely on that family support
Yeah.
to be able to rebuild our lives.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
So after moving to San Antonio, we are always entrepreneurs at heart. We have the entrepreneurial mindset,
Yes.
and we see opportunities everywhere we go. So without having any prior experience in the hospitality industry whatsoever, we pretty much made a reckless gamble, right? We invested all of our life savings into opening a Cajun seafood restaurant.
Wow.
Yes. And we made countless mistakes. We worked 100-hour work weeks,
Oh.
many sleepless nights,
Can only
no
imagine.
days off, right? And we were
Oh.
just straight grinding because failing was not an option for
Sure.
us at this point.
Right.
So I would say with 90% hard work and just about 10% of pure luck, slowly our restaurant began to flourish.
Wow.
And from there, we didn't stop. We now expanded to a chain of 5,
No kidding.
complemented with 3 bubble tea stores.
Wow.
So about 8 locations all over San Antonio.
That's happening right now?
That's happening right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
You know where we're going after this, right?
Bubble tea.
Bubble tea time.
Yes.
Some espresso.
Can you tell us the name of the restaurant?
Yes, the restaurant is LA Crawfish. Yeah.
LA Crawfish is
LA
you
Crawfish
guys?
is, you know.
That's a franchise?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
a
so you bought the
franchise.
franchises in
Yes,
San Antonio.
Yes, and
Oh
we
my
actually own
gosh.
and operate the locations.
That are here in San Antonio.
Yes, our regional developers as well in San Antonio.
Wow, no kidding.
And the bubble tea store is Gongcha, best bubble tea in San Antonio. Not being biased.
Gosh, I've heard of that too.
1604?
Yes.
Yeah, how many locations?
Three locations on the bubble
Oh
tea
my
store.
God.
Wow,
Yes.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've
all
seen that. I
right.
didn't know that was
81 and
y'all.
1604, right?
Yes, we do.
Wow.
We like 1604.
Yes.
I've never been to it.
Well, like I said, I'm taking you.
And after opening all these businesses, of course it's successful.
Right.
But then we started, seeing our girls growing up, right? They're 12 years old now. And we definitely want to take a step back and gain more time freedom because the restaurant industry is grueling and it's just long hours, period, right?
Yes.
Anybody involved in the hospitality industry know this.
Yes.
So we definitely want to move in a way where we are more present.
Sure.
We're able to build more memories with our children, right?
Right. Yeah, of course.
Because I feel like we don't have many years left. They're 12 years old. I mean, this year, Dad just got demoted from dad to bro, right? Right? Hey, I'm still winning because I'm still mommy, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't know when I'll get demoted.
Your days are
Yes,
numbered.
I know. I'm counting the days. I'm scared.
Oh my God. I'm
Yes,
scared
so-
too.
Yes, so that's
Wow,
definitely
poor Dad.
Yeah, that's definitely what channeled us into real estate.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we got to pause for a second. 'Cause
Yes.
I didn't expect
Yes.
that incredible of a story in your introduction. I'm like, so this girl went to college to be a doctor, actually graduated, became the doctor, then got into the accident. Her husband, cheated death.
Yes.
Come to San Antonio. And she's like, I know you almost died, but I need you to get to work and run a restaurant after you just almost died like a year ago, probably like less than a year.
Yes, I think it was over just about a year, and he was still recovering.
And you literally were like, get in that
Right.
kitchen.
Well,
and
actually, it was his idea and his
Okay.
vision.
Okay.
He's pretty much the quarterback.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
he passed me the ball, and I take it, and I'm the line back, and I
Oh
just
my
run
gosh.
with it.
Yes. And so you guys were literally like living practically at that restaurant when you were first starting it.
That's definitely how
Day in and
exactly
day
how
out.
I would describe it. It's something that you built from the ground up. It's your baby.
Right.
As owners, it's hard to take a step back.
Yes.
So we pretty much worked every day for about 3 years straight before we were even comfortable enough to take a day off for ourselves.
Oh my
But even
gosh.
taking a day off, we're still freaking out.
Right.
Is the restaurant okay? Checking the cameras
Right.
so
of
often.
course.
Yes.
Yes.
so-
But you know what? That has a lot to do with that Asian immigrant work ethic. Knowing, again, always being mindful of what your parents went through, right? Making sure that you're saying, everything we do will not be in vain, Mom and Dad. Don't worry, right?
Right.
We're aware of what you went through, and we're going to put our heart and soul into whatever it is that we're doing to give it our best shot. And you literally were like, we don't know what we're doing, but just through hard work, you made that restaurant work.
Right. And that brings me back to what you were saying about how freaked out my parents were when the career change happened.
Yes.
Of course, it was devastating for them when, after medical school, we plummeted into a dark place.
Sure.
So, but they still supported me through it. And I feel that because of that, it helped us actually stand up again
Sure.
and become stronger because of it.
Right.
We turned our pain pretty much into power.
Yes.
And now our power into purpose.
Yes.
And I've
yes.
always, lived by that.
Sure, sure. That is absolutely
Yes.
amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So once you guys got these restaurants kind of up and running and you finally how old were the girls when you were going through that first 3 years?
So the first 3 years, they were probably about 2 years old when
Oh
the restaurant
my-
started.
So
Yes.
not only were you running that thing, but you were raising two little children.
Yes, without help. I want to say that my biggest, job in life and biggest accomplishment that surpasses everything I do, like we were talking about, you're like, oh, you do so much. But my most important job is being a full-time wife and mom to my twin daughters.
Yes.
And we were just talking about how you have 7 kids and
Yes.
your wife is a full-time mom.
She's all
It's
in.
a huge job.
Huge.
Yes.
And I will say the most important, in my
Correct.
opinion, than any career or any other calling. There's nothing deeper than the calling of mother.
Yes, you're
Right.
right. And, something that my mom always instilled in me when, we've got busier, right? We became more successful, where the businesses are thriving. She always never ceases to remind me every few months when I'm getting busier that You need to make time for your children. You need to, because no matter how successful you become in life,
Yes.
if your children are not successful in a way of being a good person,
Sure,
right?
that's right. Their
Because you
character.
took the time
Right.
you took the time to spend with them, and you took the time to teach them those values.
Correct.
Then it doesn't matter how high you got in life, you still failed.
That's right.
So
That's 100%
I've always lived by that, and that is what I took moving into the direction of real estate.
Yeah.
Where gaining more time freedom for us as parents was our biggest goal.
Yes, yes. Now, where do you think that your husband, because he's away on a business trip,
Yes.
right? He was supposed to be here. We were going to go back and forth, but now you're representing the whole
Yes,
crew today,
yes.
right? But where do you think your husband's vision for real estate came from? Did he read a book? How does he understand this concept of maybe because a big part of people going into apartments, family is the passive income,
Correct.
right? And so where do you think where did that come from?
All right. So it came from our goal for time freedom.
Okay,
Right? So initially, as professionals and as business owners, when you naturally think about investing into real estate, the first thing you think of is investing into single family rental.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So that's the route we took. We bought a single family rental. We saw how stabilized it was,
Yep.
how it was paying for itself, right?
Right.
And then we bought a few more, and we kind of expanded and grew it into a large single family rental portfolio. And after scaling it, we kind of took a step back, and it's like the time freedom that we were expecting to gain from it is actually consuming more of our
wasn't there.
time. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't there.
And a time that we didn't have because we are business owners and full-time professionals, right?
Yeah.
So we saw ourselves running around being property management, being the handyman, dealing with tenant issues and so on.
Fixing toilet.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, we invested into the wrong asset class because it's not helping us.
Where's the time freedom?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So from there, that's when we learned about multifamily
Okay.
from a friend that referred us into this exclusive circle of investment opportunities in multifamily.
Okay.
And we ended up investing in several deals as limited partners,
Okay.
completely passive, right? That went the full cycles. So we had several deals under our belt, and we're thinking, man, this is easy,
Compared to everything you've
correct
you're doing, yeah.
It's completely passive, and as business owners, we were able to take full advantage of the benefits of owning real estate, right?
Sure.
And being completely hands off.
Yes.
Right. The tax advantages, capital preservation, appreciation, cash flow.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So all of these things, and not doing any work. So
Yeah.
from that point, of course, with our entrepreneurial mindset, we always like to scale. And from there, we went on to leading our own deals.
Yes.
And being general partners.
And that's what high level capital is?
That is what High Level Capital is. I am the co-founder and director of investor relations at High Level Capital. We are a private equity commercial real estate investment firm. We invest predominantly in large multifamily assets.
Wow.
However, all of these vehicles and everything that we do actually serves a greater purpose and our ambitions for philanthropy.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what really fulfills us
Yep.
and ignites our soul, I feel.
Sure.
Yes. So we went on to founding our own nonprofit organization, the Fam Legacy Foundation, where we focus heavily on creating that impactful and sustainable change
Yes.
in those of dire need, and we do it predominantly back in our homeland, Vietnam.
Okay.
We go back there every year, and
Yep.
we have missions to go to the orphanages, the elderly centers. We provide basic essentials for them.
Yeah. Wow.
And we usually go out into those smaller villages, not the main cities.
Okay.
And it's because nobody really goes out there. There's no plane that lands there. You have to land somewhere close by in the city, and you travel by car, and you travel hours to get into these, villages.
Wow.
Yeah, so we actually do that, and we actually want to scale our philanthropy foundation in the future,
Gosh.
and create a bigger impact.
Yeah.
Create bigger change. So,
My gosh.
yeah.
So,
All he did was just take a nap.
no, I'm very intrigued.
And you're over here going overseas.
I have a question for you.
Of course.
I mean, to be an investor in real estate, a lot of people have their professional jobs. They're professionals, doctors, attorneys, school teachers. Can anybody be an investor, or do you need like what does it take, or I don't know, just
I'm glad you asked that, Francisco, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are asking the same question, right? And I asked myself that same question before I even knew anything about multifamily. Years ago, when me and my husband were renting, right, I remember driving by these large, super nice apartment complexes and high rises and asking to myself, who in the world owns these things,
Yeah.
right? It must be the ultra wealthy class or a hedge fund, right? Or big institutions. But after learning about multifamily syndication, that's definitely not the case.
Wow.
It's the average people can own these big institutional assets. And that's the beauty of the art of multifamily syndication, is that it's actually the pooling of our capitals and our resources together
Okay.
to actually be able to buy into these big apartment complexes,
see.
right?
Okay.
Yes, and the investors are the average professionals, the business owners, people that want capital preservation and tax advantage.
Yes.
And the beauty of that is that the investors that invest in it leverage our team's expertise in order to manage these assets for them to be completely passive, and a way for them to basically build generational wealth and a
Yes.
legacy for their family, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So then that magic word is syndication, right?
Yes.
So the idea is, Katie, that you put in, everybody puts on their money into the pool, like you said, right? And so depending on how much you put in, though, that depends on the percentage, I guess, of ownership that you have. Is that how that works? Can you kind of break that down, how that process works?
Yes. So basically, usually the most common thing about multifamily syndication or acquiring multifamily assets is that we go into kind of like an agency loan. And now we're seeing that Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae are coming back into the market and actually leveraging about 70 to 75%.
Wow.
Versus 50% last year, right? But our team usually likes to play it safe, and we don't take any leverage more than 60%. Just to keep it safe. And from that, we raise the rest of the capital through our investors.
Okay. Wow. That is phenomenal. That is such a crazy concept. But I mean,
Yes.
so this opens the door to just about anybody. Is there a certain minimum that you're going to need to be able to bring to the table? Like, can you go over some of those basic qualifications in case somebody is listening or watching this and they're like, you know what? I've been looking for something.
Of
Right?
course. First things first is that, people are probably thinking, man, she's making it sound so easy, right? How, nothing can be that easy, right?
Sure.
So, and a lot of people haven't heard about the syndication structure. It's because, when I didn't know about it, is because you're not connected to those circle of people
Sure.
that are in the multifamily space.
Yeah.
And when I say exclusive investment opportunities, it's exactly that. You
Okay.
actually have to be invited into their investment database to be able to be notified or be invited into these exclusive investment opportunities.
Yeah.
Right? When our team secures a deal,
Yep.
when we vet and source it and do all the due diligence,
Yep.
and we secure what we like to call it a stone cold deal, right?
Yeah.
That's when we start inviting people in our investor database into joining hands and capital into our deals. And the minimum that our requirement is usually 50 to 75,000.
Okay. So
Yes,
you do
that's
vet
right.
them. There's a vetting process.
Yes, sir.
To
Yes,
even be
sir.
able to come to the table.
Yes, sir. So we like to pride ourselves in building relationships with
Yeah.
our investors.
Sure.
We don't do any mass marketing. We're not those big name, companies
Yeah.
where we just want to take your money
BlackRock
and
or
right,
whatever, yeah.
and not get to know you. You're just
Sure.
another, name in our, black book.
Of course.
That's definitely not how we run things. We like to call ourselves like maybe like a kind of like a boutique shop where
Okay.
we mainly focus on the relationships and the connections that we build.
Sure.
So every investor that we have in the portal, there's not one investor that we haven't had lunch with, we haven't sat down with, had multiple Zooms with, right, and conversations with. We actually know about you.
Yeah.
We know about your goals. We know about your financial goals,
I see.
what you're looking for in investments. We know what works for you. We even know about your personal life because we actually take the time to nurture those relationships and connections with our investors. That's why our investors are repeated investors in multiple deals.
Wow.
Yes. So that's just our model and our structure in our company.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to wait for the deal to come and then call you up and be like, hey, Francisco, the deal is here, sign me that 6-figure check. Like,
Right.
no, I've been in contact with you. You know how many deals I've been underwriting,
Yeah.
and I've been passing up until I got to this one stone cold deal that I'm contacting you
Sure.
about. You know how much work I put in to find and source the right deal for our investors.
Right.
And for them to know that and trust us and know our track record and know how much we care about our investors.
Yeah.
And if it's something that doesn't work for you, I'm not even going to call you, until I find something that fits your buy box,
Wow.
that checks all your boxes. And that's just how we work as a company.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So is there a certain expectation, would you say though, Katie, as far as like people that are involving themselves with you, like we are going to receive a minimum X return back? Because that seems to be the thing that people get so wrapped up in. I mean, I understand, right? We don't want to put our money into something that we're not going to see a return on, right? And some people, some things like crypto are through the roof, but of course the risk levels are through the roof, right? It sounds like you're offering something that's pretty stable and pretty safe.
Yes.
Right? And so are you able to talk about those type of things?
Yes,
like
definitely.
expectations?
So when you say stable and safe, multifamily asset is exactly that.
Yeah.
It is a very stabilized, low risk asset that you buy into. So I always like to say when I'm explaining this to investors or potential investors, when they're asking about returns, right? And they know our track record and they've been in multiple deals before.
Yeah.
We always like to tell them that past performance doesn't always equal to future performance
course.
because, of course, market changes, right?
Right.
Like we're going through now and the economy
right.
changes.
Nobody expected COVID.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Stuff
So,
like that.
but typically, we've been seeing a return about 17 to 18% IRR, internal
Whoa.
rate of return. So basically, for an easier, essentially, if you are investing $100,000 into our deal, you're looking at basically doubling your money during the exit.
Wow. I would say that that's not too shabby. Man, that is pretty
Yes.
exciting stuff. Yeah. So is this now kind of you see this as your full-time focus going forward?
This
Working
is
with
definitely this is definitely my main wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But like I said, it does fuel my passion for other things, and it gives me the time freedom, the financial freedom, and geographical freedom.
Yeah.
Because we love to travel as a family. We love to explore.
Yeah.
We've been all around the world, and continue to.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what does your process look like for finding new people that would be interested in this? What are you doing to pinpoint or locate those individuals?
So that's a good question. Like I said, we are continually educating other people and even people that are not interested in investing. We love to educate. We love to go out there and meet new people. And it's just a way, I call it a feel-good business.
Sure.
We are actually helping other families find affordable housing while building our family's legacy as well in passive wealth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love educating others about multifamily asset because there's so much that people don't know about it, and there's so much opportunities that has only been to exclusive, investors. So I love to meet people. I love to help them. I love to help them meet their financial goals.
Yeah.
And if what we can do that will help you and your family to build that generational wealth, that's definitely something, that we kind of go all in on.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. Katie, we're getting close to wrapping up. You have shared some amazing things today on the Agents Lounge
I
podcast.
feel like we can be here another 2 hours.
Easily. Very, very easy. Yeah. And we just barely scratched the surface.
And you mentioned something about classes when we were doing our BNI
Yes.
about education. And I know we don't have a lot of time, but can you briefly explain what those classes are about or how you educate people?
So we, just like BNI, where I met Francisco at, right, that you guys do local meetups. So High Level Capital also hold local meetups to educate the public about the multifamily space, about the structure, and just clearly, educating. And maybe, it will work for some investors, maybe it won't, but just learning about it, right? And doing the due diligence yourself.
Yeah.
For your investment, for your future.
Yep.
It's something that we hold monthly. You can definitely find more information about it on our website, which is www.highlevel, capital.com. If you want to get notified about our meetups, just go on there and fill out, the client portal information, and then we'll definitely send you newsletters, keep you updated on when these meetups are.
That is perfect. Yeah. You got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, any stories of investors or people that you've seen that you've helped? Would you mind sharing?
Yes, so we help a lot of people from all walks of life, right? And I feel like recently we kind of explored tapping into the foreign market, right?
Okay.
We are already heavily invested in Asia,
Sure.
Vietnam space already. And just like I said, our purpose is helping people and helping other families open doors for them for generational wealth. And I know the sacrifices that as Asian immigrants, coming to America, I know how hard it is, and people over there are fighting for their family to come to America, to live the American dream and open the opportunities for their children and their generation.
Yeah.
So kind of tapping into that and learning more about that, if there is a kind of a way for me to help those families, open the doors for them and provide kind of a vehicle for them to come over to America and start, a life and live the American dream.
Right.
So I recently attended something called EB-5 visa immigration conference over there to learn about the EB-5, and actually investors that are able to invest in real estate in America are able to be granted with visas for them and their entire family to come over here. So that's something very powerful.
Yes.
That we are able to use our expertise and our platform to help families and generations and their legacy. So that's definitely something we are exploring.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just want to continue to create impact, create that ripple effect. That's what we're all about.
Yep.
That's how we move in life.
That's right. Yeah. That is so huge. And so you mentioned that you guys like to travel. Is that probably your main thing that you do with your family when you're not working?
Yes. We are big travelers. We travel everywhere. I swear my girls have been to more places since they've been like 5 years old until, you know, now.
Right.
Like, we love traveling with them everywhere. We're already setting up so many summer vacations in the books.
Is there anything that really stood out, location that really like everybody was just like, that one's way up there for us?
So definitely we all fell in love with Japan.
Japan.
Yes,
Oh,
we fell in love with it so much that we're actually exploring getting a house out there for retirement or something. Yeah, and even our kids love it so much.
Wow.
They even want to go back this summer, which, you know, we're like trying to plan it again to go back.
What was it specifically?
It's just a different world, I would say. The culture, the people, it's just, you know, it's just...
Because nobody speaks Japanese, right?
No, yeah.
So you're not like talking with everybody.
And it's so crazy because in Japan, they hardly speak English, you know? So, and we don't speak Japanese, so communicating was really hard. But the culture there and the people, how inviting, how warm, how open, and you know that everyone was. We just really fell in love with the culture, and let alone the food.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful place.
It's
a very beautiful
lovely.
place. Yeah. Well, Katie, thank you so much for your time today. You shared some phenomenal things. You have an amazing story. You've been through a lot. You've overcome a lot. You guys are extremely hardworking, and you know, and your passion really shines through in everything that you explained and shared with us. And it sounds like you guys have really found a very amazing opportunity and carved out your own cool little niche there, you know, with what you guys do, helping people to find housing and then helping investors. And like you said, all the legacy wealth, and, you know, there's a lot of cool things that are going on. So you have definitely, your story is like really amazing. Yeah, you really stand out with a lot of these things, and I'm so glad that things have worked out so well for you guys. So y'all continue to do your thing and keep up the good work. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you so much for having me. If I can say one last thing that I'm really excited about is that I am the co-author of a #1 best-selling book on Amazon that's actually being published at the end of this month, called Powerful Female Immigrants Who Inspire Greatness. And in there, I give you glimpses and highlights of my full story. What's even more exciting about that is 100% of the proceeds actually go to a nonprofit that helps victims of human trafficking in Asia. So it's definitely something I'm really excited about.
Another big win. Man, that is awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
That is a great accomplishment. So again, thank you so much for your time today. And that does it for another episode of the Agents Lounge podcast. We'll catch you here next time.
Good job.
You've been listening to the Agents Lounge podcast, brought to you by Airtegrity Comfort Solutions. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or to listen to past episodes, please visit agentsloungepodcast.com.